How y'all feeling?
Feeling good, feeling good, feeling good. On a Friday night, feeling good on a Friday night.
Yes. I love it. I'm so grateful that you both were willing to and able to show up. I know that you all are busy and you're also crushing it with your own music. So please finish on.
So you better hurry up.
Lord of mercy.
I'll make sure I do that. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to give the people kind of like a behind the scenes look at the inspiration and the power behind the song, because we started bringing this idea and morphing it probably around, man, I don't know. I mean, for me, it started in 2016, 2017. Mm-hmm. And then I know I hit up John about the hook probably 2017, 2018.
Yeah. I remember just being completely like, something's got to happen with this. Like, as soon as that intro came in, I was like, yeah, I'm on board with whatever you need me to do.
Slaps. That the drum, like, shout out to Kardec, Jacob Kardec. He is a producer, Kardec Drum. He's done stuff with Derek Minor and other people like that. And so shout out to him. He's an awesome producer. He's the one who put that together.
Well, he is fantastic.
Yes,
he is fantastic. That's what I got to say about him.
Seriously, I can't wait for that thing to be live. Like, shout out to whichever drummer decides to embark on that journey, but that thing's gonna be insane.
Look, make sure you hydrate yourself, because make sure you hydrate.
We just got somebody out to the side, just spray water bottles.
Right. Do not dry out on this one. So true.
Holy Spirit. Oh man. Yeah, John, tell us a little bit about what that process was like for you hearing a song, because I don't think a lot of people understand what it takes to actually bring an environment to a hook. Like, they don't understand how much weight comes into bringing like the chorus on a song, because that's what draws it. Like, the verses, and we're gonna get to that in a second. I can't wait for RaJan to explain his verse. But when that verse successfully delivers people to the chorus, they're expecting something, and you slayed it. So tell us a little bit about like that experience for you, and what the inspiration was kind of behind getting the environment behind those lyrics and stuff like that.
Well, I know one thing that I can say is that the biggest inspiration was me knowing actually who you are. And so this is not my song. This is your song. So the biggest inspiration was, okay, I know this guy's heart, and then my next step was to find out from you what this song was about. And it was, songwriting doesn't come easy for me, but it was easy because I know who you are. I know your energy, and I know your passion for the message. You see what I'm saying? Like, you've always just been consistent. Like you're one of the most consistent people that I know. You're very focused, and so it was kind of like rising to that particular occasion, like making sure that I had something big enough to, first of all, I mean, like I said, the production. I mean, you can't come in singing about tulips and dandelions. I mean, you gotta you gotta come. You know what I mean? You gotta come with it. I mean, and that's the thing about a song, is because that's what I love about lyrics. That's what I love about music, is that it all ties in together. It's the energy. It's the energy of the thing. So with that kind of powerful energy, with me knowing how you rap, with me knowing how passionate your voice is going to sound when you're delivering your words, that hook, it's not that everything, for me, I don't feel like everything, it does drive toward the hook, like logically, like when you're songwriting, but I felt like in this particular song, the hook had to support the energy of your passion. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's kind of where I was with all that, So I trying to put about three little tricks out my bag, try to come to the party. You can't show up to the potluck with nothing but a knife and a fork. You know what I mean? You gotta put something on that serving table. You gotta put something on there.
You better bring a side at least.
Right, bring a side of something. You know what I mean? Don't bring them sugar cookies from Hy-Vee. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Unless you put it in your own Tupperware.
Exactly. Personal, customize it. You know what I mean? Just personalize it.
Break one off a little bit. This one came out the oven weird.
I'll take that one. It's fine.
Exactly. So that's kind of what went into it for me. It's just kind of, I would say, rising to the occasion. Rising to the occasion of the song. And I think you had given me, you had showed me the music long before we got to the point of actually. So it was already in my system. Like it was one of those things. Like I got to do something with this, And I mean, I know that I'm not the easiest person to get to do something. I'm more like, I don't know what it is. It's not like I'm incredibly busy as much as it is I'm kind of absent-minded sometimes. That's more,
I don't know, man. Like you were kind of on The Voice in 2017. You kind of was doing that all-star celebrity.
Well, God bless it. We appreciate all of our blessings, but at the end of the day, I mean, all of the, and I'm gonna cut it off after this. But at the end of the day, I mean, what you do, you want to be involved in things that you're most proud of. You know what I mean? And like being a part of something that you're doing, it's like I've known you for years.
Dude.
You see what I mean? I've known you for years, not as me knowing this particular artist, but me knowing this particular guy. So it's when I'm involved in something that is your passion, that is your career, I gotta rise to the occasion. So that's what it was.
Yeah, that means so much because you are so humble. Seriously, I know few people who are as humble as you, and I like a genuine humbleness because like there's people who are like, oh, stop it, but they're like, please give me more. It's like keep talking about it.
Stop. Right.
You are stop it.
Stop it, but don't stop when I say stop. So
keep
true.
praising me, please. No, you are incredibly humble because my goodness, your talent, your passion, your heart, everything you put into music is beyond expression. Like the things, seeing you win in the ways you have over the past couple of years has been so good because man, I remember when you came out with your album back here in Iowa. What was that called? In His Will?
In Your Will.
In Your Will. There we go.
Yep.
And man, like even back then you were still bringing it, but I feel like you've continued to find more and more of who you are. Mm-hmm. And you've made bold steps. And y'all, I'm just putting you on game. If you did not listen out here, I don't know what you're missing, but that music video and that visual and that song, the song itself before the visual came out, powerful, amazing, incredible. But that visual, shout out to John Householder and the crew. Yes. They brought a movie. Like that is a cinematic masterpiece. And I am so happy for you because those people out there need to listen to that song. Like if you're in this chat right now, and please, by the way, side note, if you're in the chat and you've got a question for us, if you've got a comment it to us and we would love to hear from you. But please go listen to that song. Heart Out Here is incredible. And
I appreciate the love. I appreciate it. It was, and I'll just put a button on it, as they say. It was a labor of love. Like there were professional people. I now aspire to be greater because of the folks that were involved in that. You see what I mean? Yeah. That's kind of what it is that it's just like this song here, your song, what we're talking about now, We Are More. You're part of a movement. That's what you are. With you putting your voice and saying that you are more, when you look in the mirror, there's more to you than what you see. When you're out in public, there's more to you than what even people make you feel like they see. You see what I mean? All of those, you're more than that. And it's about finding that in yourself. You're part of the movement, and you're a sound piece, for people who, a lot of this stuff, it's like, we know this, but we need somebody to tell us. You know what I mean? We need somebody to tell us that, okay, it's not just me, trying to, somebody can, and so that's the importance, I feel, of messages like this, is that this is our humanity. This is actually who we are. We can get distracted by trends. We can get distracted by all of these different things. But at some point when you go home, you need to know what your own identity is. You know what I mean? You gotta know who you actually are. So I will always be a cheerleader for your message. I will always be a cheerleader for what you particularly stand for. RaJan, you too. What you guys? I know I said your name wrong. I will always be a cheerleader for you guys because you've chosen to use your talents. You've chosen to use your voice to help. To promote. I've always said that, like, doctors, teachers, and people in the military, like, those are selfless tasks. Those are selfless vocations. I'm using an old school word, but those are selfless careers. And I will always, in anybody who uses their music, their talent, their voice to promote a better, think a better suggestion for how to live, or those different kinds of things. I mean, I will always be a cheerleader for that. So don't let me get started. I'll take a sip of water. Y'all talk.
No, I appreciate it, John, because the feeling is incredibly mutual, and you have been such an exemplary. Excuse me. Just
big words now, boy.
Big words. Excuse me, and let me get on my glasses. But you truly have been a leader in pushing yourself to go where you needed to go, and showing other artists that we can do this out here. So please know there's a lot of people that love you and support you, and I'm always going to be cheering for you 110%. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for who you are and those kind words. And that's something I want to point out too for people, is like, that also shows John's humility, because John is so incredibly talented and amazing with what he does. Like, he saw the song for what it was and what he needed to bring. That's just like, if there's some artists out there that are watching this, or that some people tuning in, sometimes not making it about you and making it about what the whole collective is within that, whatever it is, whatever project.
True.
You will spur something on that's even more amazing than you could do by yourself. So, man, I can't imagine what this song would have been if it just been me on it. It would have been pretty bad. So
you know what, you would listen.
So
when art is presented, it's just presented. You know what I mean? Like we have the perspective of knowing what it is now, and then we can pine on what it could have been without those particular pieces, but it still would have been a whole process. It would have still been a whole thing. If that was your vision for it, it still would have been that. You see what I mean? We have the perspective of it being this, and but no. Everything that I'm doing is supporting your message. The meat of this song is what you guys are saying. That's the message. You know what I mean? I'm just the guy that gets in the costume and pulls the trumpet out. You know what I mean? Like, hey, there's people in the building that know stuff, and you need to pay attention. I'm just the guy that, like, order in the court. You know what I mean? That's what I'm doing. But what's gonna make people listen? What's getting people? You're storylining. You're giving people thoughts. You're sending people off into their own thought process about this song, and that's That's what the importance of your lyrics are. And there's and that's one thing that I really like about rap is because you can fit so much in. You know what I mean? You can tell a bigger story with rap because you're saying, yeah, that's what I love about. That's what I love about rap. You can say so much. You can leave people with a bigger serving, you know. So, yeah.
That's what's up. Well, we do have a question in the comments, and then we're gonna get to RaJan and his incredible verse. Brittany said, John said he got the music long before it was recorded. When did y'all record this? John, I remember.
That's funny.
I remember being in an apartment room and you sliding through and doing that. And I mean, you did your main vocals in it like a couple takes. Like it was insane. And then just the add-ons and everything like that. And then, man, like, yeah, we did that winter 2018.
Was it? I think it might have been 2018. Yeah, it was 2018. Yeah.
Yep. So, y'all, when I tell you, when you've seen in my posts, this song has been on my heart for years.
Yeah.
This is not a just came together yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Trying to meet a moment. I mean, that's the thing. Is like this is who you are. It's been in the books. It's been cooking for. This is who you are. Absolutely, I love it. I love it.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate that.
Yep.
And I mean, it's a perfect segue because this song wouldn't have happened and been mixed the way it was and mastered the way it was, and the first verse wouldn't have been brought the way it was if it wasn't for the man in the middle, which is Mr. RaJan Monroe, who absolutely crushed. Like when you guys get to hear the full album, it's going to be incredible because he mixed and mastered all of it basically. And so it's like, it's thanks to him. So this dude also was gracious enough to give us, arguably in my mind, RaJan, just knowing you, bro, for like the past 5 years, bro, I think it's like it's one of your best verses. I was blown away the first time I heard it, and it just got me so pumped. And I'm honored that you would let me have one of your best verses, because I know how that is as a rapper. You're like, listen, I'm gonna save that one.
I should have saved that. Like, yeah, man, it's just real. Especially hearing Jon Mero's about to be on the track. I'm like, okay, gotta come correct now. I made that verse like 20 times now. No, but for real,
man.
like the verse wouldn't have been what it was without your vision, bro. Like real talk, Ryan, like Will, sorry, hit you with the government. Like you saying, hey man, this is what the track is gonna be about. This is what I wanted to, speak towards, and then giving me the free reign to do that, because you didn't say, hey, speak on this. You said, I want this to be what people feel. And so being able to have that freedom, but also having some guiding rails, kind of like bowling, with little kids, like they got the little rails up. You hoping that they don't knock over the rails, but it's there just to, help you a little bit, you know what I mean? So I love that. And yeah, it came together really, really well, I think. Like what you were saying. I feel like when you guys were talking about how John has like the trumpet,
give me a B flat.
I really feel like it's my verse is kind of like masked over a little bit because I use a lot of metaphors and stuff, and then Will's verse like kind of lays it out again with just like the guts of it, and then you dress it back up with the chorus. Like every time it comes back in and just packages it again. So it's just really dope how it came together,
Bro. And listen, I'm so grateful to have you on the track. Like I've said it, I feel like in every single live I've ever done, RaJan is one of those people who's my brother, and ride or die, and he's also the one who made me better.
I love it. I love
it. My music sucked. so and he was real with me. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. We all grow, we all get better. We continue to make ourselves better, track after track. And there's something always there for somebody. But I just appreciate you, because like just how you felt with John being on the track, that's how I felt with both of y'all. I'm like, if both of these people are going before me, that's like going up on a talent show and you've got like Drake, and then you've got like this just came off the cuff, so now I'm trying to think of Kendrick Lamar. So like,
you looking for a rapper and a singer?
You got like Frank Ocean, you got like John Legend, you got like these people going before you, and then it's you, and you're like, "Hey, what's up, y'all? I got a verse for you." What's up? And so I knew I had to bring it. So thank you all for bringing that out of me too. I just got to say that, and I want. RaJan, I'd love for you to dig a little bit more, because you're absolutely right. Your verse, if someone's listening to your verse, they hear it and they're like, that's good. But until they actually like get into it, then the depth just like it's more than you can ever expect. Mm-hmm. Like it's a good verse at face value. But when you dig into it, then it's like, this is excellence. Like this is wow. And obviously being a rapper, you can like get that a little bit more on your first try because you're like hearing those things, but your verse keeps bringing me back for more. And so I want you to, I'm going to do a couple shout outs really quick, let y'all know that we love you and we see you. People in the chat are saying RaJan is muffled. His voice thing is a little bit messed up, y'all. So RaJan, when you speak, just kind of use yell at us. We know you love us.
I still think his phone's under the pillow. Okay. and he got the camera peeking out from under.
He's about to go to bed.
Interrupting date night.
He's like, let's take an intermission. We'll be right back. I just want to do a couple quick shout outs, and then RaJan, I'm going to bring it back to you. So be thinking about that. Shout out to Dustin for joining us, Lizzie for joining us. Ryan Buck says it's incredible timing that the song has a protest vibe and to be released now. And I definitely want to get to that, because some people.
Hey, Ryan. I just have to say, hey, Mr. Ryan Buck, I love you.
Shout out to Ryan Buck. So the lyric video that you all saw, shout out to Connor, who helped with the lyric video, basically bringing everything to it. But shout out to Ryan Buck for the vision. Shout out to Ryan Buck for making the connections. And I know that Ryan Buck and I are going to be working on a music video for it with these incredible artists in October. So be on the lookout for that too. That's going to be mad powerful. Words Taylor said, first time I heard this joint, I said, this is the song. Shout out to Words Taylor. My favorite joint on the album. I gotta bring this in really quick, and I want to bring it back to RaJan. But I got to say, also Ryan Buck said, best verses from both of these guys, career best for my ears. That means a lot, because Ryan Buck heard me in the studio in 2010 when I could not write verses in a rhythmic pattern. It was just a bunch of chaos on the pad. So shout out to Ryan Buck for that. That's dope. But Words Taylor, I got to bring this in real quick. Shout out to Words Taylor, because Words Taylor, there was a time in my life in 2016, 2017. Now it would have been 2018 now, where me and Words have been good friends, and he has been an inspiration to so many people with his grind and who he is. And he came over to do the spoken word for Never Quit, Never Lose. He did the interlude on that song, smashed it, made the song so much better than what it could have been by itself. And he sat down with me after that, and he's like, bro, what do you got working? What are you doing? And I showed him We Are More. And he listened to that song. He's like, when is this coming out? I was like, I want it to come out soon. Like, I hope, like, we'll just see what happens. And he's like, this like he said, this is a song. Like when Words Taylor says a song is the song, you know you got a hit. And so, yeah, shout out to Words Taylor, because he's also the man who, like, while we were sitting there said, you got to get serious about this artist thing. And since 2018, took my projection and everything of who I was to a whole different level, and how I looked at myself and how I believed in myself. So I just wanted to make that side plug and side love to Words Taylor, bro. You are, there's so much I could say, but I appreciate you so much. He's in love with this song.
I love it. Taylor. I love it.
Ryan Buck, we don't want to talk about 2010. We do not.
Listen, we all grow.
That man literally called me out of the studio and was like, hey, you should go home and rewrite that. Like, this man was real with me. So shout out to him. And shout out Words Taylor. We appreciate you so much, man. If you're someone who's out there watching right now, if you're someone who is chasing your dreams, who's trying to make your dreams a daily reality, if you want to be an entrepreneur, whatever that might be, hit up Words Taylor. That man is making dubs for so many people.
Awesome.
But getting back to RaJan. RaJan, I would love it if you could kind of bring context as well as more insight to your verse for people. I would love for people to get it, because when they hear it from you, they're going to go back to that song 100 more times, hopefully 1,000 more times. I would love those streams, y'all. We would all love that. And stream it. But they're going to get it more, and I want them to get it. So why don't you kind of give us more context for your verse, and then I'll share more of the song after that.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good level. If you keep it at that and up, you're good.
Okay, so I'm going to talk like this the whole time. First of all, the whole concept of speaking on issues, speaking on something that's deeper, for whatever reason, I didn't just want to hit it head on, but at the same time, I wanted it to cut deep. So I was like, it's metaphor time. And so with that in mind, I was like, obviously, I live in America. We live in America. Most people, you know, that are listening to this, and, you know, that's who I know. And so I looked at what America was going through at the time. Now, mind you, this was, what, years ago, right? So I think when I was told to write the verse, it was during like the Me Too movement.
Yeah.
Like, women were on the forefront, speaking out, standing up, and, you know, all this stuff. And so, let alone the underlining issues that America's been having. You feel me? And so I wanted to write about all that, but at the same time, like John was saying earlier, I could say a lot in that little amount of time. And I didn't want to like I didn't want to hit on with the minigun. Let me get it. I didn't want to do that. Because you have to match the tone of the sound. And so because it was intense, but yet it's dun, 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 you know, it's coming off of that black, and then it's like I was like, okay. So automatically I thought female, I thought woman, and I'm talking about America, and I'm talking about women's rights all at the same time. And so it starts off nostalgia looking good nowadays. She working that thing well, especially for age. And so you would think, okay, I'm calling nostalgia, and I'm talking about looking back. You look back, look at the ages, like look at, you know, your history, right? And that's where it's like, okay, I'm talking about America. You know what I mean? You look at your history. But at the same time, let's say I am talking about just a girl and her name is Nostalgia. So nostalgia looking good nowadays. She working that thing well, especially for her age. Meaning, that's one of those big issues. You don't ask a girl how old she is. You don't ask a woman how old. It don't matter. You know what I mean? You know, like, that's a subject, right? But at the same time, that plays into some things, right? I'm trying to remember my lyrics now.
Yeah, you good? You working that thing well, especially for her age. She ain't worried. Yeah.
Never tricking for a wage.
Yeah.
Till you call it out of name to prepare to feel the rage. Yeah. Like that right there speaks about like trafficking. That speaks about working hard. That speaks about doing what needs to be done to provide, but at the same time, it's saying, yo, don't call me anything different than what I am, you know. And again, it's not just speaking from that woman's point of view, but at the same time, there's things that America has done that, you know, looks crooked or looks different or wasn't exactly on the right lines. But it's like, wait, we're trying to establish something, you know. So don't call me out my name. I land of the free, home of the brave. But like, you're like, wait a minute, you know what I mean? Like, so it's in there. It's deep, right? So yeah. So there's just layers. What's the next line, man?
Well, I was
feel the rage.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
No, I was gonna say also, the beautiful thing about metaphor is that people will find their own truth in it. That's the beauty of metaphor, is that it's not literal. You know, so you're talking about this, but the most interesting thing about human life is the model of everything. There's always a pattern. There's always, you know, you could be talking about something completely different, but the pattern of it, or it has characteristics of this over here. And that's the beauty of metaphoric lyric, is that so many different kinds of people can find their own truth in something that you say, because you kind of wrote the model, and now everybody has a house to live in all of this. That's what I think the magic of all that is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So much wisdom. I love it.
That's the beauty of music, I think, you know. It speaks what we feel.
Yeah.
It puts into words what we're feeling, and you can interpret that exactly how it needs to be interpreted.
Yeah, man. They probably missing the mission, stuck on the vision, not painted. I know it's vivid behind the scenes of the bid. It's a heart, you know, that wants to feel part of the piece that seems to be missing. She been working that kitchen, more than just flicking a wrist in, more than just licking her lips in, more than just carrying kids in, more than a body of work. She is filled with beautiful gifts, and I know that because of the flow, she gets bold, and sometimes you miss it. She cuts like a cision, direct like a collision. Can't live without it, but he's
I did get a little choppy there. I did speed up a little bit, but yeah.
I love that line. Like, I mean, that is all so good, man. And then you just basically like put it in reverse on people. Can't live without her. Please see the beginning. And they're like, hold up, wait a second. Where I need to go back.
No, for real. Can't live without it. Like saying, look back, because if you go back into time, you got to look at it like, remember, and it's the whole, you know, the metaphor thing. Everybody got a mama. You know what
Straight
I
up.
Everybody got a mama, but at the same time, everybody got to start somewhere. You know what I mean? True. Like you got to start somewhere. So you can't live without your beginning, whether it was the best beginning or the worst beginning. Your beginning is your beginning.
It's your story. You're right.
It's your story. Exactly.
You're right.
Foundation is foundation. You got to grow up from there.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
And you did. There's lines in there that are like mentioning some dude, like for real. Like, I mean, there's like menstrual cycle lines in there. There are like pornography lines in there. Like for real. Like there's so much in those verses, metaphorically, to speak on what was going on at the time, but at the same time, it can cut in a way that it can impact a man. You know what I mean? Like to say, all right, instead of grasping what I met her for, I ain't even gonna say too much right there, but instead of grasping what I met her for, instead of saying, oh, what a metaphor, like
it's
just all in there.
Bro.
And then it all concludes with me saying, I ain't even talking about a girl. I'm not only talking about a girl now. It's time to stand up and be heard around this world now.
Yeah.
So I kind of reveal, I kind of pull the curtain back a little bit at the end, but yeah, like you're saying, it's alive in a way, because I wrote that years ago, but now I hear stuff in there that I'm like, did I write that? Because like this is current now in 2020. You feel me?
Yep.
Like some issues that we're dealing with now. Like, shoot, I could have called that verse Breonna Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Talk.
Like it's crazy, man.
Bro.
Crazy.
That's the crazy thing about us, just us as the human species. It's like we live a cycle. You see what I mean? Like you as an individual can screw something up and then learn your lesson. And at some point in your life, you're over that because you've learned your lesson. But then 100 years later, there's somebody else. Maybe the gadgets are different. Maybe, there's different tech, but they'll make the same mistake. You see what I mean? The things, it just keeps repeating. It just keeps repeating over and over. So it's almost like what we are doing is trying to make life better for those of us that are just here right now. 150 years ago, this entire world was inhabited by a completely different set of people. Like nobody alive now was alive. It was 7 billion other people. Do you see what I mean? So it's like now, when we're saying these things, we're just trying to make life better for us. We're trying, people that are in trouble, people that are alive right now and, need some guidance or need some direction or those people. I can see myself in that. And it's funny how even inside the lifespan of one person, how things can, even with like all of the brutality and all of these stuff that we're seeing happening right now, there's people that are in their 60s and 70s. You hear them saying things like, I can't believe it's still here. We got a new generation of people having to deal with the same stuff that, I'm old and feeble now. I can't get out there and march and everything like that. But now we got a 20-year-old who's doing the exact same thing I was doing back in the 60s.
Right.
You see what I mean? So it's one of those things where it's like, but from a hope perspective, I do believe in the incremental betterment. Life is better now than it was at a certain point from certain perspectives. You see what I mean? But it's not, you still have to, they're still evil.
Yeah.
They're still wrong.
Right.
Do you see what I mean? And we still have to fight to make the life experience of all of us better.
When you talk about that, it makes me think about people coming to Christ, and like how if you're believing in God and you accept Jesus, right? Some people think that that's it, but it's like if that was the goal, you would say Jesus.
That's just your listen. That's just your orientation packet. That's all that is.
Right.
That's just your orientation packet. It's a whole course.
Right. And so there's just more that needs to be done. We are, always in process, and you got to live in a finished state of mind, but always trying to be better.
Absolutely.
To excellence, and not only make it better for yourself, but unselfishly, say, okay, I'm gonna make it better for the people coming behind me. Because, like you mentioned, it's gonna be a whole new set of people.
Yeah.
From us.
And I mean, that's the thing, is that there are people. I mean, even from the perspective of let social injustice. I mean, that's top of mind on everybody else. But I don't have to dig a hole when I want to use the bathroom. Do you see what I mean? Like even if you go there from like industry and like just people seeing a vision, people working on something. I think they were saying, I don't want to sound crazy, but they were talking like the pyramids. Like those things took so long to build that people would build them and then they would be dead, and their kid would build, and they'd be an old person, and then they die. And like, so there are people that have vision past their own lifespan.
Ooh.
You see what I mean? They're not living life just for themselves, but they're living for the greater good. And I feel like we have so much of that in our youth today. They're willing to put their bodies on the line. They're willing to go out there and the possibility of bodily harm, even people getting killed, even young people getting killed because they believe in a message that's bigger than themselves. They're empowered by a message that's bigger than themselves. And that, I gotta tell you, is crazy to me. Like, it's in a very good way. You see what I mean? I feel like sometimes, like when you look around, everything is kind of oriented and to make us kind of pay attention to me, look at me, you know, all this kind of stuff. But then when you see like these selfless acts, it's almost like it's hard for you to mentally process it. Like, it's like, you know what I mean? You can't do anything like that. That's because it's just like, where does that come from? Like, but the thing about it is, life events, different things that certain people go through, there are so many motivators.
Yeah.
There are so many motivators for somebody to do something like that, to go so far beyond the general mass and stick themselves way out there to be able to do something incredible, to be able to do something powerful. It's in music. It's with what's happening here, being a sound piece, with, you know, being someone who says, okay, I got to break off from the pack and try to, you know, figure out. It's like this, I'm all over the place, but it's like the, you know, the scout, like the person who goes out and like checks and see if the enemy's, you know, and then you holler back to the folks, you know, okay, you know, we good for now, or look, pack a bag. Cause
Do what we can and let's move.
You know what I'm saying? Anything that ain't tied down, leave it. Anything that's tied down, leave it. There is no time.
Yeah, leave.
Yeah, they're coming after us, and they look motivated. Okay? So, but that's yeah, man. It's so crazy. Like there's so many things that people can talk about. There's so many things that you guys can rap about. You know what I mean? There's all different kinds of stuff that would get you views, that would get you guys all of this, that, and the other. But choosing to put your sound on this, choosing to put your voice on this, and meet the time. You see what I mean? This is not easy stuff, because this is one of those things where it's like, you know, in our country, you kind of land on one side verse or the other. So just as much as you're inviting support, you can also be inviting an array of bad energy onto yourself. You know what I mean? Just because you're standing up for what you believe in. You know, so I don't take lightly the commitment that somebody has to do that. And it's a free country. Everybody can believe what they want. I'm not here to say what's, you know, who's right and who's wrong. You see what I mean? But for me, I cheerlead conviction. You see what I mean? Everybody don't look like me. Everybody don't have the same background as me. Listen, I mean, you know, we're all but I'm a black man from Iowa living in Atlanta. Okay? I'm used to not being the majority. Like, you know what I'm saying? In my particular situation. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, me knowing that people are coming from all different kinds of backgrounds. People are coming from all different kinds of situations, you know. But a song like this, what I love very specifically about this song is that it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what your background is. We live in a society that makes us feel like we have to chase something that's bigger than us, that tends to not have a lot of nourishment to it. You see what I mean? So when you say that you are more, you know, almost to say you are enough. You know what I'm saying? You're leaving the gold at the house, and you're going out here chasing all this. You're the one that's valuable in your own particular way, and you need to invest in that. Invest in your own value, and try, instead of trying to chase the same thing a million other people are. You know, don't let me talk, because
Bringing that wisdom. I love it, John.
I feel it. I feel it coming. I said, look, they ain't here to hear me talk all night long.
You good, bro. You good. Ryan Buck said this: "There's no 2020 without 2010. Hustling for a decade. Let's go." Appreciate that, Ryan. He also said this: "For me, this song is a reminder that people are valuable, and it was God who first declared our value as people. We are valuable. We are more. Let's go next level, everyone. We are more." I love that. Todd said this: "Share this song like how we need to share the gospel." I love that. Dustin said this as well. Shout out to everybody that's joining. Can't wait for everything to come out because this album is one of my favorites. Every song slaps and has a story. Dustin got a little preview. It's not that the album's out, everybody, but it will be coming, I promise. Julian, y'all fellas making waves in 2020. Love y'all. Love you too, bro.
What up, Julian?
What's good, Julian? Ryan Buck said this: "Brilliant verse, RaJan. I was smiling at the end of your verse. Ridiculously clever." That's mad props because that means a lot when it's coming from Mr. Ryan Buck. Julian also said this: "I didn't know y'all made this years ago until now. Definitely divine timing. God has his fingerprints on this song."
Yes.
And then Ryan Buck also said this: "Music as a whole is slim on solid protest songs at this time. Protest songs have shaped massive society changes in our history, looking back to past decades. So I'm refreshed that this team brought the voice of the people to music." And it goes on to say, "and some divine inspiration to craft a much needed protest song. If the right people hear this, it can blow up big." And I mean, obviously, yeah, we would love everybody to hear it and we'd love it to blow up. Hear me say, I am not against that. But I appreciate those of you who are listening to it now. And I thank you for that. And I do want to touch on what Julian said. I do truly feel a divine inspiration through this song because when we were all writing our parts, and like we've kind of shared and expressed, like these were in a different place in society. This was a part of the different cycle, as you were referring to, John. Like we were in a different mind state when this first started. And when I went into my verse, I was thinking about people in cages at the border. I was thinking about Philando Castile. Some of y'all, when you heard my beginning of my verse, you thought I was talking about Jacob Blake. I was talking about Philando Castile.
It's just crazy that there's just, no matter what moment you're in, there's always one. You know what I mean? No matter what moment you're in, it's fresh. It's crazy to me.
It's insane. And when I was listening to that, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like that. The pain in that is still so real. And I just want people to hear that because it's like we think these are just one-off things that happen and someone trends it and then it falls and then, well, we're back on another trend. It's not a trend. It's a lifestyle. Mm-hmm. It's not a trend. It's somebody's reality. It's not a trend. It's somebody's perspective and their walk in their environment. And that is what I wanted to bring to this, is to see these different ways in which we, and there's a intentional reason why I released this on September 11th, because there was a time in our nation's history where something massively tragic happened. And we rallied with one another and we were unified through that pain. Now, we were not wholly unified. There was discrimination towards others of our society. And I will say that, and I'm not going to brush over that. But we basically, what this song is really calling to is saying, I've seen and we've seen the ways in which, like you kind of referred to earlier too, RaJan, it's like America hasn't always gotten it right. And no nation has. I'm not saying like America's the only one who's got it screwed up. That's history. That is the human condition.
Yes.
However, if you love something, if you care about something, if you appreciate something, you are not only going to recognize its beauty, you're also going to recognize its flaws so it can get better.
Yes.
You don't get from the hole in the ground where you're squatting to the toilet without recognizing that something needs to be better. Something needs to change. Somebody was squatting one day and fell in. It's like, something's got to change.
Well, not only that, listen, you got lightning bugs out there. You know what I'm saying? You getting chiggers. I mean, it's like, listen, right. I'm getting bit. Like
getting bit. And so I love it. I love it. No, that was good. But that's what I'm saying. I think so often in our society now, when we call for better, people assume that we are calling it and saying, this sucks, I hate it. You can care about something and say, you know what, I care about this nation. I have family who've been in the military and who sacrificed their lives so that people could live free today, and I appreciate that, and I love and respect that in my family's history. I appreciate the sacrifices. I can still today call out and say, this country is not living up to its promises in areas, and we want that for the betterment of everybody. That's not to say, like, screw all this, whatever, I just hate you. Like, it's saying, I want better.
Yeah.
And I think we deserve that. And so we are more. We're more than the things that divide us. United we stand, divided we fall. I mean, Heart here, shout out to that. Y'all, again, I told y'all, go listen to that. But we are more. And so the verse just goes through a bunch of different things. And I'll just highlight a couple things. See a red hat with a false statement, because this country's never been great for everyone in our nation. That's true. When did we believe that enslavement didn't affect our grandparents' education? You know, you were talking about how people were marching in the 60s, John. Like, and it's so true. There's people who are living today who are like, I was marching for the same things.
Yeah.
And yet we still have these conversations of like, well, that was back then. It's like the roots of that and the teachings of that and the heart of that transfer themselves through generations. It's the human condition and the human cycle. It's going to continue to happen.
Exactly.
And we should be able to call out and seek better from each and every single one of us. And so, but then I go on to say, like, hold up, I thought every child was a part of his creation. This is what I was talking about with, like, where I was at in perspective, is I was seeing certain people groups being like, well, you should go back to where you came from. We hear that all the time. Oh, that if that person doesn't like it here, they should go back to where they came from. Guess what? That kid grew up here, but you are making an assumption off what you see. But guess what I see? I see what God said, and everybody's a part of his creation. That means the people you call apes, dogs, aliens are fans. So let's stop with segregation, because some of the most segregated parts of our country are on some points. And so I'm just calling it for what it is.
I love the way that you delivered that line too.
I appreciate that.
I mean, no, so it was jolting. You see what I mean? And yeah, I love the way that you delivered that. Yeah, that's that passion.
For mixing that.
That's some stuff.
Yeah. That's that passion.
And that for me is like, that was on this song. I was like, the chorus is so beautiful and so unifying, so hope filled and so anthemic. And RaJan's verse is so beautifully layered and deep. And I was like, I just want to slap people in the face at the end and tell them this is what we mean. And so I just wanted to bring that. And so, but then I say, like, because what you said, John, is so true. It says it right here. I believe in this generation with the new Father Declaration that war isn't our anthem. That has been the anthem of generations in our country. War. That's our call. War has been the anthem, but power is peace. You know, I just want to give a good shout out to Jesus, the peace who could have come to this earth and said, yo, I'm about to take over. Watch out, Rome. I'm taking y'all down. He could have done a whole militarized operation. And he said, no, I'm going to be with the people. I'm going to be with the oppressed. I'm going to be with those who are looked down on and outcast, because I know that they need to be seen and know that they are part of my creation. Yeah. And I think this generation is getting that more than we get it sometimes. Yeah.
I mean, it's so funny you said about Jesus could have handled it a different way. Now, see, here's what I believe, and this is, I'm not bad, but when them folks was in that church, and they had their little cash registers and all that. Jesus gave them a little taste. Like, listen, you better be glad I ain't bring you the whole thing. This is a little bit of what you can get. You keep messing up. Okay,
You're gonna get it.
I'm
You're gonna
gonna
get
need.
it off the hands.
Jesus said, "I'm the peacemaker," but
You see this table?
get you a piece of this.
This table's no longer going to be a cash table; it's a peace table. Peace. Yes. But something I also wanted to recognize in the song, and I know it touches on so many different things, but I want those to hear this too. That there's just a heavy debt on this country that stems back to the way in which we treated those who came here first. And that's also power and peace, is that we pay for the past to the real natives of this USA. And I just want those of you out there who have relatives who are native to this country, as well as those of you who are, like, you are more. And this song's for you too, because a lot of us came in here and we're like, hey, this is ours now. It's kind of like when the bully at school came in and you had your spot during recess and they're like, this is ours now. Like, well,
yeah, I guess. I mean,
and we were the bully. And I think it's good to have that tension of recognizing these beautiful advances, technological advances, beautiful things that humanity has done in this country. And there's also a lot of pain. I think we need to be able to balance both of those tensions together and recognize that. And it's not something we have to dismiss. So
I do love the fact that I feel like very specifically with this generation, you know, I done passed off. I'm no longer the younger generation. Like, ain't been that in a minute. But
you just said, nah, that ain't me.
That ain't me, y'all.
you look like you.
We got Gen Z out now, right? And I've been saying this, and it's so crazy because I've been hearing it from just a lot of random people. I mean, I tend to have a lot of, I don't really do so much like on my social medias, but in person with just different people that I meet, I tend to have a lot of political conversations. You know, I mean, pretty much all I talk about is what's going on, you know, and so, you know, especially I'm down here in the South. I mean, it's a conversation that everybody has a little bit of something to say, you know, like I mean, it's our country. I mean, everybody in the U.S. has something to say. But one thing that I am very encouraged about with the youth right now, and I only have the perspective of being as young as I am, you know, I mean, somebody that's 50, 60, 70 might have an even broader perspective than what I have. But from my own little perspective, there is, from what I can read in the history books and imagine to what I'm seeing right now, there is a completely different kind of energy. The young folks have actually energized older people.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I mean, that's the thing. I can't tell you how many signs that I see in support, you know, so supporting human equality here in Atlanta. And they're in suburban neighborhoods. There are neighborhoods that you wouldn't think, you know, people are sitting on the porch enjoying a glass of wine, and there's a Black Lives Matter sign out there in the front, you know? And so one thing that I've always said because we're all trying to figure this out. You know, we got a new generation of people. We got people that are, you know, middle-aged. We got people that are old. Everybody's trying to figure out how to contribute. Whatever side you're on, we're trying to figure out how to contribute to this conversation. And one thing that I have said very specifically about people that might not look like, you know, we're talking about police brutality.
Yep.
This is new for a lot of people. People finally feeling so much tension that I got to do something. Well, guess what? They're new to the party, and they might not say everything right. They might not get it exactly right on the first time as somebody who's been on the front lines for long, or somebody, you know, with my skin color who lives this. You see what I mean? And so you've got to, one thing that I've always said is that grace has to be shown for support. Grace has to be shown to those people who want to join the fight and say, I'm going to stand up for something right. You see what I mean? You don't have to be under that label to be able to support that. Do you see what I'm saying? You don't have to be, you don't, and so grace just has to be shown. There's a lot of stuff that I support that I'm not even involved in. You see what I mean? But I know right is right, wrong is wrong. So I'm not going to pretend like I don't, I'm not going to pretend like I'm going to wash my hands of it and don't know anything about it. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to try. I'm going to listen. I'm going to learn. Honestly, I've had to do a lot of listening and learning on this topic myself. You see what I'm saying? Just having my skin color doesn't qualify me to be the professor. You see what I mean? There's so many different kind of stories. Like there's so many different layers of lifestyles and culture and experiences that we all share. There's somebody that could be white that's lived crazier than me. You see, had a crazier lifestyle than me. You see what I mean? There are interracial families. You see what I'm saying? Just because you can't write the story just based off what you see, what I'm looking at. Okay, that's what it is. No, we're so quick to want to give an opinion. That's what the comment section is for. I'm not talking about our comment section. We love our people. But I'm just talking about like everybody has to say something. I want to say something. And we tend to want to say stuff before we actually do the research. Why are you trying to take the test before you read the book? You see what I'm saying? And that's kind of where we get into a little trouble. So I do, getting back to, I think I went on a rant there, but getting back to just the support from so many different kinds of people. I mean, it's so encouraging just to see so many people of all different colors, of all different backgrounds, of all different cultures, different financial situations, just saying, listen, if the least of, if what people are making us feel like is the least of us, if they're in trouble, then the total is screwed up. The total is screwed up if this one particular part of it, if we're having a problem over here. So we need to concentrate our efforts. We need to concentrate our focus on that issue. So then we can sit around and enjoy the whole.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yep.
And once we take care, so guess what? If we fix that and there's another problem over here, then everybody who was under that label needs to go over here and help that situation. That's what we are as a country. That's what we are. That's what we should be. And everybody gets an equal part. Nobody is more, everyone that is American, or everyone that is, from a human standpoint, I'm not more of a human than you. like I'm just me as a human, and you're a human. If you're an American, I'm not more American than you. You're an American, I'm an American. You see what I mean? So we got to treat each other equally. Like we've got like equality. First of all, we got to know what we're talking about when we say that we want it.
Yep.
And then we need to focus on fighting for it. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
God, I went on another rant.
Right. Love it.
I think when I hear equality, it's easy for people to pick a side and to focus on, you can pick any kind of topic you want. It boils down to, treating others the way you want to be treated.
It can be so simple.
Yeah. Like everything that we really need was like taught in kindergarten or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, like, it's foundational, but we understand life gets messy.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with returning back to the roots.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much psychology. There's so much psychology in it too. Like we are very complex as a race, as a human, as a species. Like humans, like we're very, very complex. There's, like you said, going back to kindergarten, going back to your formative years, going back to the conditions that you grew up in, that all bears on what you think about things and just, even the intensity of it. It all of it. So, and that's the reason why I think that's the reason why it's so miraculous to me that so many people can be on the same page. So many people from so many different backgrounds can really be on the same page with this. It's not even political. It's just, listen, humans, bro. Like, it's just us. Like that's all. That's all. You see what I mean? I don't care about your party. I don't care about any of that. We're just humans. Like, just let us live. That's all. And I'll bring a potato salad to the potluck. Like, you know what I'm saying?
just don't put raisins in it, you know?
Oh,
That's,
God.
that's what I've heard is that I should not bring a potato salad with raisins.
If you bring a potato salad with raisins, I promise you, you're gonna be TikTok famous. Okay, like, like oh,
I'm like taking notes of like, this is not what I bring to the barbecue. Okay, good to know.
my good friend and y'all's too good friend Chris Steele is on here. I see he said, "What would this world look like if we lead with grace and respect?" He said, "I don't know why we have to make life so much harder than it needs to be." And that's really true. And the funny thing about that is when you lead positively, listen, we're humans. We're not going to get it right all the time. You can be having a great day, get up in the morning, get in the car, start driving, and somebody cut you off. Guess what? There's the cloud. You know, I mean, we're being realistic. But at the same time, when you start creating the habit of checking your negative thoughts, of being more positive, of adding positivity into your world, I mean, it doesn't have to be a huge to-do. Just a smile. You know, somebody smiles at you in public, just smile back. That's it. You ain't got to be creepy. You know what I'm saying? Just smile. You know, right. Exactly. Yeah. You know, so you can stop now. But, RaJan. But that's, you know, that's what it is. It's just adding these little positive. And what you don't understand, what we do understand, actually, most of us do, because we're humans and we're alive and we do this thing, is that you get residue back. Whatever it is that you put out there, you feel the residue back. You see what I mean? So if you give somebody a compliment, first of all, this is crazy. I was actually talking to somebody about this yesterday. You compliment somebody and they're like, "Thank you so much," this, that, and the other. And then I promise you that person, like the next person that they interact with, it's a positive one. You see, because you made them feel good. You know, nice shirt. You see what I'm saying? Whatever it is, it's just adding.
Your ears are looking fantastic today.
Straight up, what'd you say?
Your ears.
Oh, see.
Like, wait a second. What did you say?
Listen, you say that, they're gonna lock you up. Okay.
Those ears are looking nice today. It's like, oh, okay.
I don't even know what constitutes a nice looking ear. Like,
I mean, like, I think it's just attached. that might meet some criteria.
The basics. Yeah. Oh my God. So your ears, you're crushing it. No Mr. Potato Head, no, you're just crushing it. That guy there would say, "Speak up, son, I can't hear you." Oh, man.
I think you're spot on, John. I think you're spot on. And having that spirit within us, assuming best intent out of others around us, is hard.
You know what's crazy? You know, and I'm so sorry that, but
get it.
You know what it is? I don't really talk to people. Like, I live here in Atlanta, and I don't really talk to people actually. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, I don't know. But the thing about it is that I've noticed that when you are imperative, when you take the lead on positivity, you will begin to realize that there's more positivity out there available in other people than if you were to sit back and wait. A lot of people, most people are reactive. They're not proactive. You see what I mean? So if you meet somebody in public and you say, "Hey, how's it going?" Then they make the choice. It's gonna, "Hey," do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you, but it's most of the time it's just awkward. You got two followers. You see what I mean? You just awkwardly pass each other in the grocery store, you know. But if you can create positivity just by initiating it, by saying, "Don't react to your day. I hope make everything go well today." Mm-hmm. And I know there's circumstances. Look, come on, we're realists.
Right.
There's things that are going to happen. I mean, you might be going through a situation that spans a week, that spans a month. Somebody might have died. You might have had a breakup. You might have an issue paying a bill, or right now we got people out of work.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So there's we can't pretend like we're not talking about just everything being all good.
Yeah.
But what we're saying is, in whatever circumstance that you find yourself in, there is some relief in just being positive. There is some, find it, do it once, do it twice, whatever it is. Your problems will still be there, and maybe sometimes that positivity will actually help you move through them. It's very interesting how the brain works. It's very interesting how God works. It's very interesting how things work when you lead with positivity. Different ideas will come to you. Different situations that you could not have dreamt up will come to you as a result of you just putting positive. Listen, the dog can hear sounds. I know, right? The dog can hear sounds that we can't hear, right? Our senses are not, we don't have the ability with our senses to hear certain sound. We know sound is a real thing, but at a certain frequency, it escapes our human ability. Is it not real then? No, it's still real. The dog can hear it. And he's acting, you see what I'm saying? So everything our five senses, just because we can't dream it up, or just because we can't logically come to a conclusion, it doesn't mean that there's not something there. And so that so many people, you look at these people that are highly successful, these people that have highly positive lives, and these people, the reason why they're doing it is because they're leaning their support. Part of their support is something past their ability, and they've been able to understand that there's something past my ability that is going to assist, that is going to come along with my efforts, and the glory might come in something that I'm going out of frame. The glory might be something completely different. There's no way that could have happened. You see what I'm saying? I could never have dreamt that up. You hear about this stuff all the time, but that's what it is. It's people putting different, and like Todd Wilson right here said, yes, the power of the spoken tongue. The power of the spoken tongue is mighty. Saying these things. I was just reading something on Instagram where they say, write it out, and this is very important. Write affirmations. Write things down. It makes them real in the world. You see what I'm saying? You write it down. Don't just think it up. And it's this. Behind that thought comes, what am I going to get at Jimmy John's? You see what I'm saying? Like make this one count. Write it down. Make it more valuable than all these other thoughts, and then it will rise to the top. You see what I mean? And that's what this is. That's what this life is. Yeah, I know
you're speaking the truth, man, because I was watching Terminator 1 and 2 last night, and the dogs could sense the machine. I know you're right. I know what you're saying is true.
This man's like, I saw the Terminator, so it's got to be true.
It's got to be true.
I'm gonna take your lead on that one.
He said the power of the spoken tongue is mighty. Instead of hoping we are making a difference by our voice, believe we are making a difference by our words. Our words have the power to shift the atmosphere. We just have to believe it. Instead of question or hope it's true, it's God's promise. Oh, man.
Yes.
About to bring a whole word. Okay.
I'm about to pass it off the plate.
Come on now.
We're going to do a virtual offering plate. Oh, man.
Well, I appreciate you all. I know that we're over an hour. I want to let people, hey, what's up, Mama?
I love it.
I need to go.
Yeah, I was gonna say we'll head out. Thank you everybody who's joined the chat. Thank you to John and RaJan. You both are phenomenal. Be sure to follow them on social media. You just have to do at RaJan Monroe, at Jon Mero. Make sure that you get those, and make sure that you've got them followed on all your social media platforms that you enjoy. please support them. They're incredible people. There. I love y'all. Please, y'all, please share this song. Please share this video.
Yes.
This was powerful, and I knew that was going to be powerful. So thank you both for giving your time for this. I know that this was a little bit more and longer than we expected, but I appreciate it so much. Please share this video, everybody. Share the lyric video, and know that you are more. Know that no matter what walk of life you're in, you are more, and we are more together. So, thank you all so much. We'll peace out. Appreciate it.